is your RStudio in a cloud on a server run by the providers of RStudio. Now, if you haven't created a free account yet, you might click here to sign up. If you have, we might proceed and go into login. You enter your username. I'm using my private email right here. Provide a password and then just log in. Now, once you log in, you start here at the start page. Well, you are here in what is called your workspace. We will be able to discuss these workspaces maybe at some other time. So your workspace, and within the workspace, what you have is projects. Here are some other helpful links. For example, you have some guides to help you start, primers, cheat sheets for some common packages. You also have access to the community. You might upgrade your plan and so on. On the right hand side here, what you have is some usage information. Now, if you're just here in this part, you're not actually using anything. As you might see here, I have 00, so basically I have all the 15 hours for this month still available, and I can still have my 15 projects because I have none yet. Okay, so let's start using some of it. So let's just start a new project. It takes a little while to actually start this project. What a project will be is you will see the familiar RStudio environment. So basically, once you start this project, what you have is you find yourself in the RStudio environment with all the parts and windows that you have here. And here we go. So on the left hand side you still have this, but here you have your RStudio environment. So you have your console. We might start, so file, new, markdown, and we were discussing these markdowns earlier on. You have the environments. Oh, see, when I started markdown, you might notice here that some packages are missing. So packages are actually components of R that you can add. So we will be using throughout this series of videos on statistical analysis in R, we will be using these several packages. As you can see here, the Markdown actually needs a whole bunch of these packages. And right now you don't really have to think much about it. You just install these packages, say yes, and well, it will take a while, but it will install the packages for you. Now, while we are waiting for it to start, maybe a few words about the packages. The packages you can manage here, where it says packages. You might install the packages. You might update packages to a newer version. Also, another thing with managing the packages right here, so you can see in the console the packages are actually being installed here. You only need to do this once per project. So basically, for every project you need to install your own packages, so let's call it test 1. I started a new Markdown. So for the packages belong to one particular project, or better, to one particular workspace. So once you install the packages into a workspace, they will stay there. So if you have a desktop version installed, the packages are basically there in your desktop version. So basically, imagine each workspace in RStudioCloud is like one installation on your computer. So in each workspace is like, so if you have a new workspace, it's just like having a new installation on a new computer. Now, you don't really have to know about all these packages. We will tell you which packages do you know. Also, some packages need other packages, which is called dependencies, but we'll talk about that at some later point. So this is the TheRStudioCloud environment. Just one thing before we finish. With a free version of RStudio, you are quite limited with how much time you can spend with it. And now, you know, every minute we spend in the project environment, our clock is ticking. Now there's a way of slowing this clock down. So if you have, if you go here in the resources, what you might do is you might allocate just half of the processor and half of the gigabyte of memory. So basically, for every hour that you spend in this environment, the clock will only clock you half an hour, which basically means that your 15 hours allocated for each month of free use actually extends to 30 hours. It actually means this will be a little bit slower, but for most purposes of students of business and economics, for their studies, also for their master's thesis and so on, this should be more than enough. So if I apply changes here, basically what I get is I get 1 hour, so I get 30 hours per month or 1 hour per day of free use of RStudioCloud. A little bit slower, a little limited in the amount of how much files, how big files I can use, but it should be more than enough.